We
Yes,
got the
sir.
biggest game of the season on our hands on Sunday. A
Yes,
game
sir.
bigger than any for the history of this show. I just have to say the fact that I think it's important 2 years into this experiment since I have
Mm-hmm.
arrived,
Mm-hmm.
we have one of our teams contending for a title. I think that is no mistake, right? It can't be a mistake there.
Yes, sir. I think one of the things that I am proud of is that we have gotten our predictions for the most part. We've been correct on all our predictions. You know,
Mhm. We both
uh,
called the game, by the way. Matt
with
tried to tell us otherwise. We knew what it was looking
yeah,
like. We saw the
yeah,
script.
yeah. This we got the script before the season started. We got the NFL script during the summer. You guys are still wondering who was gonna do what. We knew it was gonna happen. Yeah, man. I think this is a great time. Uh
For sure. I just
and I'm
let's take a step back before we even
yeah,
get to this game. Let's talk
yeah.
about the conference finals because man, I've come on this show every week, and at this point, I admitted to the bit. I don't know if you checked in to see this, but I admitted to the bit. I was talking to Matt about this. I'm like, man, if your co-host is a Philly diehard, like you got to be the one to make the case, right? Like even if you don't
Yeah.
believe it, like and that's what I
Yeah.
told him. Like even if you don't really believe it, like you have
Yeah.
to be the one to really make the case.
Yeah.
And man, I 2 weeks in a row, y'all embarrassed me on this show, man. Y'all made me look just terrible. I'm like, all right, I know I said last week it was gonna be close, but this time I mean it. It's gonna be close. I
Yeah.
definitely feel like we were robbed though of the game we could have potentially had with injuries, but once again, that's not something that happened on some freak play, right? You guys made that injury happen. So once again, not at all what you cheer for, not at all what you wish for.
Mm,
But you guys are clearly hunting that throwing hand. So something to look out for.
honestly, and I think the crazy part about it is like you don't wish injury on anyone, right? But you've got to play like was coming. They didn't play like they knew what was coming. They played like they were taking for granted that they could pick this team apart, that defense apart. You can't do that. Excuse me. That offensive line is not as great as Philly's offensive line. So when you put a backup tight end on the leading sack guy, or
Multiple times, by the way, even after
why
he
would
got through.
I don't even know. The funny part about all this is that going into that game, all I kept hearing was that Mike Shanahan was the better of the coaches, and that he was going to out coach Sirianni. Right? That didn't happen, bro. That
Hey,
did not
man, I
happen.
think that goes down to the coordinators. I got to say this. That was the
That
closest
too.
7 point game ever because early on, right? Early on, right? And once again, this is not me trying to troll. Like, I'm being
Yeah, yeah,
serious.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like, you look at the final score and you're like, man, this is a blowout. But at the end
yeah.
of the first quarter, we did not feel like you was going to be up 31, like 7 at the end. So there was, even
Mhm.
with the injury, there was some keeping it close early that you have to admit was interesting as far as getting the offense to come out the gate slow. And obviously, you guys
Mhm.
benefited from that catch not being challenged there. I saw this post,
Yeah,
a 49ers apologist that was like, man, if we get that challenge there, he's like, it's an entirely different game. And
it's
to an
one touchdown lower.
one touchdown lower, and but that's when the initial gash was opened, right? That's when the blood started flowing out, so to speak, and they weren't ever able to recover defensively
Yeah,
after that. So
yeah.
I get it, but once again, that was a game that no matter what, it felt like you guys were winning, even if
Mhm.
nobody got injured. So can't be too mad about the outcome. But I think the other side of the ball is where it's important that we talk about this conference game because man, I was fucking excited for this one. Chiefs Bengals was fun as hell, as we
It
expected.
was.
Um, a lot of people saying they got bailed. I personally, I think there's a case, honestly, to say that the Chiefs got bailed. Not because of any one specific play, but more so like
Mhm.
the the culmination of many plays that went their way. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
a couple dominoes fall a different way along the way, and then you actually have a case for a different outcome. Um, I can get some Bengals fans being upset, but you really need to pull out the tinfoil to like connect all the dots. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to be that conspiracy guy here. But my main sort of takeaway after watching that game is like, this is not like, once again, for you Bengals fans out there that are a little sad, this is not the Chiefs figured out how to beat Burrow. Like, no, this game is gonna be this way every time they play against each other, and
Mm-hmm.
whoever wins is really gonna come down to who got the most sleep that night. That's how it feels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a spectacular game and was really cool to sort of come into this Super Bowl off of a big high, with the way the other game played out. So I'm curious, right? We're gonna get into
Mhm.
over under next, but I just have to ask you, as far as looking at both teams play, do you feel like you're facing the better team out of the team that arrived,
Mhm.
and B, whether or not the game plan would have been extremely different against the Bengals versus the Chiefs?
I think the game plan would have been different because the Chiefs' wide receiving core is pretty banged up right now,
They were
right?
banged up when you started the season.
Yeah. So, you got, with Cincinnati, you've got everybody, you know, to really worry about. So the game plan would have been different from that standpoint. Um, with the Chiefs, I mean, it's no disrespect, but your main guy to cover is going to be Kelsey. Like that's the primary guy to hold. If you're able to hold him and make Mahomes' day excruciating, like I don't know. I think that the level of dominance in terms of the score that they've been able to have in the postseason this year, I think that continues to trend. They could win by 2 or 3 touchdowns at that point if you're able to do that. Um, I don't know. This is it's gonna be a fun game, man. Because
Mm.
I think the only, and to be honest, these teams are so even statistically, record wise. I believe Mahomes and Hurts are 1 and 2 in QBR rating in the pocket. Um, like it's really the matchup that you want to see, right? Um, I don't think the way that it is on paper is how it's going to play out on the field.
We'll get there. Don't tip your hand just
I,
yet. I'm excited for that because
yeah,
I've got some interesting angles on that too. But let's before we get there, before we get to our picks, let's have some fun imagining how the game is going to play out. Right. So
yeah, yeah.
we got our over under this week. I'm really excited for this one. I got a whole bunch of different lines. You already know how it goes. Gonna give you the number and then we go over under both of us. Um, so speaking literally what we were just talking about as far as offensive games, let's go to total points here. So
Okay.
I'm gonna switch it up on you actually because I already know these, right? So I can't participate. But I'm gonna ask you, what do you think the line is, first of all? Like if you were
Ooh,
setting the line for total points, what would you say it is?
for combined
Yep,
or
total points, both teams.
I would say you have it set at around 52.
52. That's good. I like that. The actual number is 50 and a half. So very, very
Okay.
close there. On
Okay.
point. I love it. Are you going over under there?
I'm willing to say under.
Yep.
I'm willing to say under. Yeah, because I think what's going to end up happening is both defenses are going to come out and they're going to show them they're going to make their presence known. I think
Sure.
the presence is going to be made known, especially in that first quarter. But I think the and I won't tip my hand, but I think it's going to sway one way after the first quarter. I think we might be close
Whew.
for a good minute. Bless you.
Thank you.
I think it might be close in the first quarter, and then after that is when you see that swing. So
Mhm. I like it.
yeah.
I'm gonna go over, and it makes no sense. I agree. You're under. I mean, the last three Super Bowls have went under, so it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense to go with that pick. I'm just going over because it's the game we want to see, right? Two of the
Mm-hmm.
best offenses in the league. It's the game we want to be witness to. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's gonna take a lot to get to that position, but hey, I like it. Next up, total touchdown passes for Patrick Mahomes. So once again, start off. What do you think the line is, and then I'll tell you. We'll go over under.
I'm gonna say you have the line set at two.
I like it. Yep, 2.5. You're getting real close
Two
on
and a half.
these.
All
Yep,
right, all right. uh I think he'll be under.
under,
Yeah.
under, under.
Yeah.
That's a fair play. I'm going under two. I think it's not because he's not going to be balling. It's probably because Pacheco punches in a couple. That's what I think. Um, so
I think I'm not doubting him, right? But I think that passing game is going to take a brutal hit.
think so. I'm
I think it's
interested.
I think so because if you've seen how that defensive line has been flying all over the place, like, and the secondary has everybody covered, right? Bradbury and Slay, top two cornerbacks in the league. They are holding everybody, right? And where people say that the defense had issues was at safety spot, um, with Maddox being out. Now you had to move
Mhm.
Gardner around a little bit, um, but he's back. Maddox is back, and Maddox and Gardner together, like they're just crazy. So I can't see Mahomes lighting it up. I just
I
can't
think
see it.
he 100% throws for 300 yards. Like that. That's a
I,
ching.
I
So
can't
is
I
that
can't
lighting
see
it
it.
up? I think that is. I don't know. For
Yeah, I
mere
know that
mortals, it is.
for sure. No, but I just I can't see it because you have Reddick on that line, Graham, who should have won the comeback player of the year.
Does he
Um,
actually fit the criteria?
because he actually fit the criteria. Like, um, that whole defensive line with Josh Sweat and Fletcher Cox, even though he's older, um, Hargrave and Jordan Davis, like all these guys are flying all over the place, right? And I don't think that offensive line is going to hold up as well as people think it is, right? Brandon Ayuk came out yesterday, I believe, and said that he believes that the Chiefs are going to do what the 49ers were going to do, which was, pick that expose that defense. And I don't see it. Everybody's been trying to expose this team all season. That's the funny part about it. They've been exposing this team, like, quote unquote, uh all season long, and it's not taking place. It just hasn't happened. Right. So I think that passing game takes a nice brutal hit. I'm not saying that Mahomes is knocked out the game. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I know
I'm
what
not
you mean.
wishing injury or anything like that. But I think that it's going to be under a lot of pressure, right? Reddick is going to be in Mahomes' face all night. I don't see how he's going to be able to pass like that. And that run defense is like they're back. They're back. You
I
saw.
think when you actually have a quarterback that has the threat of throwing the ball defensively, things look a little differently. But
Mhm.
I love the way you're keying in on these matchups because I a lot of the talk I hear about this game specifically is like offense, defense, special teams, and it's like nah,
Yeah, I
bro,
don't get
this
that.
is all
Yeah,
about matchups, and especially when you're
it's in the
considering.
trenches.
Mhm.
It's in the trenches. That's how this game is going to be won.
for sure. That's gonna be the that's where my eyes are gonna be. I'm not gonna be just
Yeah.
staring at the pocket every time that ball is snapped because that doesn't really tell you too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll move on. Next up, we got total passing touchdowns for Jalen Hurts. What do you think the line is? And then are you over or under? Once I tell you.
Uh, I think you have it set for 3.
3 for passing.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's at 1.5. So are
One
you
and a
going
half.
over
Okay.
or under?
I'm going over.
I like that. I
Going
like
over.
the
Yeah.
over here too. I like the over here too. I don't like the 2.5. Like if it was 2.5 for Jalen Hurts as well, I would say under. But one and
Mm-hmm.
a half is criminal. I think the only reason it keeps getting lined at 1.5 is because your running game is so good. So it's easy to
Yeah.
sort of
No, for
take,
sure.
and he's probably gonna punch one in too, right? So
Oh, he
it's
is.
easy
Yeah.
to sort of to take that for granted and say, hey, he's not gonna do too well. But in
Yeah.
reality, it's like, nah, we're just we're spreading it around. So yeah, both of us are going
Yeah.
over here. Mahomes total passing yards. So now this one I was actually surprised by. What do you think the line is?
Uh, 250.
Shit, 295.5 for Patrick Mahomes. Over
Mm,
or under?
under.
That's a fair one. I thought this line was ridiculous. Like I'm like, how the fuck is it that high? I agree with
That's
you. I'm
that
going
makes no
over
sense.
just because how I think the game is. Well, I'm hoping the game is going to play out as far as being more
Yeah.
of an offensive oriented game. But yeah, that line is stupid. Like there's nobody you take confidently at 295 and put your money down on the over. That's ridiculous.
Mm-mm.
In a playoff game too, crazy.
Yeah.
And in the play. All right.
And
Anyway,
the biggest. Yeah.
so hammer the
Yeah.
under if you got some money to play. Next
Yeah.
up, Hertz total passing yards.
What the line is set for?
Yeah, what do you think?
Probably 250.
Ooh, you're seeing a lot of Hertz disrespect from the bookies. It's sitting at
Yeah.
239.5. So are you going over
I,
under?
oh, over.
Over?
Over.
No doubt.
I,
No doubt.
no
He said
doubt. There's no
over.
question. Yeah. Because there's see like their receiving core is healthy.
Yeah.
Their receiving core is healthy. That offensive line is crazy. I think what Lane Johnson's been doing is historic because he's been playing on a
Mhm.
torn abductor, and he doesn't look like it. He looks like he's completely healthy. um, I don't
And
see how
that's a bad injury. Like
that's a
that's not
horrible injury.
that's a,
He shouldn't
one
be
of the
out there.
most yeah at all.
He shouldn't be out
Shoulders are
there.
a complex joint, bro.
Yeah. Um, no, but it's his groin.
What? I thought it was a shoulder.
It's the groin.
Oh man. Yeah,
I like
that's
you could see
crazy.
him like I think it was against the Giants. Um, like after he held up the protection, the play was over. You saw him kind of like stand up and go hold it
Ooh,
and hold his groin and kind of limp a little bit, and then he went right to the next play. Like it's
man.
phenomenal what he's been doing. So if he's been able to hold up, and he held up against Bosa, who
And he got a week off.
you see what I'm saying? I think I think that offensive line is going to hold up significantly better than Kansas than the Chiefs offensive line. But I think because of that, Jalen's going to be able to get off. I mean, there's going to be like I'm not saying you're going to see the 30-yard bombs consistently. I'm
Mhm,
saying like I think you're going to see those 10 to 15 yarders chunk them, like eat them up a little bit, and
mhm.
then you see like 2 or 3 of those big boys, right to AJ, right to Devontae. I think you see those. Um,
Okay.
so
Going with the
yeah, I'm
over. I
going
like
over.
it.
Yep.
I'm going with the under, and it's not because I think the
I
offense
know
is
why.
going to struggle. It's just
Yeah.
because probably going to run for 70. So
Yeah.
it's hard to be out here with 400 yards total, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
man, I agree. This number is a little low. So might want to
Yeah.
put some money in on the over. Um Next up, this is a fun one. I never included this before. Mahomes total completions.
Mm. Ooh, I'm gonna say it'll be set at about like 25.
Oh shit. We getting there. 25 and a half.
Okay.
We
All
love
right.
our half points here. So
Yes.
everything is a half
I
point.
keep forgetting about a half. Yeah.
You're good. You're good. So are you going over or under?
I'm gonna go under, and not like tragically under. I'm not. I think
Yeah.
18 to 20 makes some sense. But I'm
Damn, if
gonna
he
say
only
under.
gets 18, you don't even need to look at the final score, right? Like you already know who
Well,
won.
like that's what I'm saying. But I think that pass game just takes a brutal shot. Like I mean, he's gonna get some attempts, but the guys are just not gonna be. They're not gonna be open. So
That's
completions,
that's
I'm gonna
fair.
go. I'm gonna go around
Hey
20. Yeah.
man, I keep thinking back to that first half, first quarter, and
Yeah.
I'm saying, man, listen, I think you, listen, I love you. I love the hype. It's your team. You got to be hype. But I think there's a
Oh, it's
little
not
bit
about
of a
hype.
sputter out early.
It's not about hype.
There's a little sputter early.
It's not about hype. I like and I'm not even talking about it like it's my team, right? I'm honestly looking at this objectively. Like I'm really looking at this objectively. I do believe I know no one believes that. It's perfectly fine with me. Because I got a spinning helmet in the background and the Super Bowl. I mean you can't see it right here, but the Super Bowl football on full display right there. Like I have all that stuff, right? Yeah, but I'm not looking at this as a fan. I'm looking at this objectively. I seriously do believe that when you have a defense like that, right, that all levels are that intense, I don't think that it's going to be like a cakewalk for the offense to
Definitely
do
not.
anything against that defense. I think the run game is going to suffer because look what they just did against Saquon Barkley and against McCaffrey over the past 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I
That
think
run
that's
game is
more fair. That's more fair of an analysis point for when you're looking at the way the teams play. That's not their game at all. So I think
right,
it's their run game isn't that way. So I
right.
get why, but it isn't too applicable for me. But I get the
Well,
point. You're
if
totally
you're
right.
if you're relying like heavy on your pass game against a defensive
Yeah,
line like that. They rely on their pass game. So like if you're doing that against that defensive line, that's not going to be an easy thing for you to be able to get off. It's just not. It's not. It's not. And I know people will say, "Well, look who they've played, who the Eagles have played." You know, that's such um a horrible take because all I kept hearing was how Daniel Jones was going to pick us apart, or how Brock Purdy was going to pick us apart. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not comparing them to Mahomes, but I'm comparing the weapons that those guys had. You can argue they had, well, San Francisco had better weapons than
definitely
Mahomes
San
does.
Francisco. Yeah.
You know what
But
I'm saying?
it was never about the weapons from Mahomes, and that's where
For
the
sure.
respect factor for me comes in. I agree
Right.
with you 100%. I think when it comes down to this, where I was trying to jump in wasn't even what you were saying. I just kind of once again, you got to be contrarian, Chris, when you're in the seat.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
for
sir.
me, it's like as far as offense, right? We're talking about offense here. As far as offense, I think it's not going to come as easy for the Eagles as most people think it is. Which brings me to the next line, which I
Yeah.
think is interesting. Hurts total completions 20 and a half.
That's what it
Oh,
said.
I just gave it to you. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, are we going over under? Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I think it's over.
Yeah, I agree. That
I think it's over.
both of those actually I looked at his and Mahomes, and I was like, you could have went up and down for both of them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of over and undersold it. So I agree.
Yeah.
I stole the thunder. Sorry, I won't do it again.
No, you're good. You're
But
good.
it's time to get fun. These last couple are once again a category I've never done before, and one
Mm-hmm.
that kind of fucks with the brain a little bit. So this is total yards by a player, not rushing, not passing, both together. Um, so I'm gonna ask you what you think the line is for Jerick McKinnon.
What the line is set at?
for total yards, passing and receiving. I mean, passing and rushing.
80.
Telling you, this shit is weird, bro. You ready? 44 and a half. You got to go with the over there, right?
No.
I'm going with the over. What do you think?
Um, I mean, I think it could be over. I'll play it safe and say yeah, but I don't think it will be. Um,
Total rushing and total passing yards combined.
oh, I'm really just thinking about rushing. Okay, over.
Mhm.
I'll give it about 55, 60, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I just feel like the number's low. Like the number
Yeah,
Vegas said is low. I agree with
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah,
number more.
yeah,
And if anything, that was a reach a little. So yeah,
yeah,
and I was like, hey,
yeah,
yeah, definitely hammer the over on this one.
yeah.
Next up, Isaiah Pacheco.
Mm-hmm.
This is where shit starts getting weird. So get
Mm-hmm.
ready.
Yeah. Total for both rushing and receiving.
For everything from here on out is total of rushing and receiving yards.
I would assume they probably have it closer to 70.
Good guess. 70. It's 69 and a half.
Wow. It's ridiculous. I can't. These
You
halves, I
got it
can't
though.
do them.
You're right there. You're
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
I mean, technically, you're right? Because 69 and a
Yeah,
half is 70, right?
yeah,
It isn't 69. So
yeah.
yeah.
That's true. Um, over under. I'm going under for him.
Mhm.
I'm going under. He's going to have a nightmare ahead of him.
I'm going under too, but I don't think it's under by a lot. I think it's under by a little, but yeah, that number's pretty high.
He's gonna be
This
He's gonna
one,
be held.
this one's even weirder. Marquez Valdez Scantling, one of the hardest names to say in the
Yeah.
in the entirety of the NFL. This is one of the weird ones too. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna say they have it set at maybe 114.
Holy shit. Call the bookies, baby. 36 and a half.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I was
Really
assuming
low,
they're
right?
yeah, I was assuming they were more so leaning against his receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Um I'm surprised for them to do that. I
Me
think
too.
I think that's probably where he will be though.
Yeah. So
I think
you
that's
think
probably
you're
where
going
he's gonna be.
over or under?
I'm gonna say just to be nice, slightly over.
Yeah, same. I'm saying over because the number is insanely low, but
Yeah.
36 and a half, I think that should be somewhere around 45. Like that number seems off. Get
Respectfully.
get get to the bookie with that number for sure. Next up, another. I'm telling you, these. I would say the next six, even including all of your Eagles picks, are fucking weird. Juju, what are you guessing?
I'm gonna guess the line is set around like maybe 50.
50 is a great guess. It's 38 and a half.
That
That's
so
low. That's
they're paying
low.
attention to that defense. I'm
That's
telling you, that
low.
defense,
Yeah.
it is low. It is low. Uh I think it's set around the right number though.
Going over under.
I'm gonna say under for fun. I'll say under for fun.
I like that. Fuck it. I'm going with the under for fun too. Now this one, this one, I think might be the weirdest of all of them.
Okay. All right.
Travis Kelsey.
The total. They probably have it set around 70.
70 is your final.
I'm gonna go with 70 for
70 and
both.
a half. You're fucking
Are
killing
you
it.
serious? Wow.
Yes, sir. You got it. Right. Basically right on the head. Over
Yeah.
under.
Under.
Wow, I'm going over. I'm going over. That's scary.
Yeah, I'm going
Damn.
under,
Damn. You think this is one. He's like, I'm
bro.
chilling on the couch. I'm not even worried. We gonna get there. We soon talk about the picks. We almost there. It's a long
Yeah,
ride, but
yeah.
yeah, man. I go over by a lot. So
Now what you
that
got?
line was weird to me. That line was weird. I'm thinking like 84.
Okay,
84 sounds about right to me.
that's
Um,
respectful. Yeah, that's
right.
respectful. Yeah,
If you're if you're trying to say 90 or something, you're bugging. But next
yeah.
up, a disrespectful number, if you ask me. Devontae Smith.
Bro, I expect disrespect for the Eagles, so I'm gonna say they have the line set at around like 30.
Oh, damn, not that disrespectful. I can't preface you no more. I feel like I set you up. It is
No, no, no.
61 and a half.
Okay, that's cool. I really the disrespect that I've seen for those players, I
Mm-hmm.
just people are acting as if they're going to like be this trash team. So my expectation is that the line isn't going to be too much
I
off from
set you
that.
up there. I set you up. I set you up. No
No, no,
doubt.
that's how I honestly feel though. Like
Mm-hmm.
it would be around there. I like I don't have a problem with saying that. Like I do believe that it would like
That you thought they would think it'll be there, but not 61 and a half.
yeah.
I think they lined that one pretty well. Are you going over or under?
Over.
Over. I'm going under. And it's because I got a significant over coming up coming up soon.
Okay. Okay. I see.
Next
I
up,
know.
Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
What do you think? And remember, this is rushing and passing.
Rushing and receiving. Total. Total. I'll say they have it set because yeah, Jones. I'm gonna say they have it set for like 75, 80.
Respectable numbers. It is 67 and a half.
Definitely over.
Over. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going over too. I think he gets at least 50 rushing. I think we'll see. Um,
Dude's gonna go off.
for
I think
sure.
that.
I was surprised that this name was even on the list. So buckle in. Kenneth Gainwell.
Ooh, Gainwell. Uh, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say they have it set for 55. If if Sanders was around, you said 60,
67 and a half for Sanders. Yeah.
67 and a half. I'm gonna say they're gonna have it around 50, 55 for Gainwell.
No cigar, my friend. 35 and a half.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Disrespecting the
Uh
check down, baby.
yeah, I like that. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way.
Going over.
I'm going over. Yeah, I'm going over.
I feel like it's really hard to come in under 35 between passing and rushing.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I guess people just aren't watching this Eagles
They're
team,
not
right?
what
If
that's
they
what I'm
think
saying.
that
Like
number's that low,
that
like
that's why I'm saying like I expect it to be low the
Mhm.
expectations because
Yeah,
it is
for
what it
sure.
is.
All right, last two, and really it's only one because the last one is a meme that I it doesn't exist. I lined it just so I can ask you. Like it wasn't even on the list. So this
Okay.
first one is official. Second one's unofficial. AJ Brown.
Um they're gonna have it. I'm gonna say they're gonna have it set for around 80.
Good guess. 72 and a half.
72 and a half. Over.
Over in capitals. Hammer
Yeah.
this. Go run to
Over.
the bookie and play the over. Because yeah,
Over.
he's at least getting 100 in my
At
opinion. At
minimum, he's
least,
getting
yeah, at
100.
least. I mean, just look at the Titans game against the Bengals last year. AJ somewhere. He down there somewhere. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's no way he ends up under 100. Book it.
Because you have to account for Goddard in that passing game too, which I think people
Mhm,
don't think about.
for sure.
So
So much so he wasn't even listed on the line.
I'm telling you.
But this last one, I didn't even think of Goddard too. I probably should have added Goddard. This last one is just for fun, just because I was like, I have to ask you what you think it is. Quez Watkins. What do you think? Because I came up with a number I think it's respectable for my line.
I'll say he gets one good chunk play for about 25, and that's the end of it.
25. Nice. I set it at 11 and a half.
Okay.
Oh man, that's great. So yeah,
Because I
I
think
I'm
Zach
going
Pascal.
under, but I don't mind you going over on that one.
No, I think it's because Zach Pascal is I think he's above him on the depth chart.
Hmm.
So yeah, you're not. I don't think you're gonna see Watkins out there at all.
Yeah.
But if you do, it'd be one of those trick plays to
There's always a
disguise.
chance. There's always a
Yeah.
chance for sure.
So I think it's gonna be one of those chunk plays for 2025. He could get open real quick. It's just that sometimes
Hmm.
he just drops the ball. It's
Yeah.
just like
A lot more than you're comfortable with dealing with. I
yeah,
feel that. I feel
yeah,
that. So that's it. That's it for over under. Fun as always.
yes, sir.
But now it comes down to the point of the show where I got to do it. I got to do it again. And this time, I swear, because I tried to check my bias last week, and I thought I did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm fully checking the bias. I acknowledged up front that there is some contrarian Chris whenever making these picks. Um, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm going with the Chiefs. My pick is the Chiefs. And we had the same discussion last season in the NBA, though. And I think it's a very similar dynamic with your
Mm-hmm.
Celtics and with your Eagles in these matchups. The
Mm-hmm.
main point I said back then against the Warriors was I thought it was going to come down to championship level experience. And I think, of course, there's a lot of upsides to both teams, a lot of real moments that could happen that'll just crack it open, that'll really make this game sort of feel unattainable for either team. Like that is realistic for either team
Mm-hmm.
to sort of get out to a lead like that. So I'm not super confident in this, but I think between Andy Reid, his ability to see things that not many people see, especially in schemes, offensively, as well as just being there. I mean, knowing intimately this Eagles organization on top of the momentum, right? So three Super Bowl appearances in 5 years. He's been on this stage often, and he also has a ring. So I really think that's what it comes down to, man. Just knowing how it feels to be in a game like this and being ready, willing, and able to do the right thing when it comes down to it. Now, will I be surprised if it doesn't happen? Not at all. Once again, I put a lot of respect on both these teams. I think this is going to be a one-score game if we get the game we deserve out of it, personally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited for this. Once again, I'm not just trying to be a contrarian. I sincerely would have made this pick regardless of if you were a fan or not. But I want this for you, man. Like honestly, I do. Because if it happened to you twice in two different sports, man, I'll definitely feel sad for you, brother. But I gotta be honest, right? I gotta be honest with my head here. And
Yeah, yeah.
when I was talking to Matt last week, he actually told me that he feels this is his hot take that they could keep going to the Super Bowl as much as they want, but Mahomes is never winning another ring. And I,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a fascinating take because you can really see it playing out that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going with the Chiefs here, man, and I'm convicted in it. How you feeling? How you feeling? Are you
Um,
mad? Am I gonna get kicked
no,
off?
no, no, no. You're too valuable, bro. I think I get why you say that. I don't think because as much as Andy Reid was a coach for the Eagles, Sirianni was also on the coaching staff
Coaches, yeah.
for the Chiefs.
Head
I don't
coach,
think
coaching
either
staff. Big
he was on the
difference.
coaching staff. Yeah, I know. But I don't think either one was gonna play a factor because none of the players that they coached or, coordinators that they had, excuse me, that were there during their
Hmm.
time are there. So like I don't think that's gonna factor in at all. I think yes, they have championship experience on that team, but guess what? So did the Eagles. So did the Eagles. You still have some guys that were there from the 17 championship title. So, um, I think that championship experience is there too. I think it's there too. I think that when you match these teams up, um, everybody's looking at Mahomes and Hurts But like I told you before, it's those trenches. I'm looking at offensive line and defensive line, right? Because I don't care who you have as a quarterback. If your guy is not open or you're not able to even like get comfortable in the pocket to throw, you're not doing anything. And I couldn't care if Jerry Rice was out there or like I don't care who's out there on that field. If they're covered and you're not able to throw, you're not doing anything. And I think that's what this defensive line for Philadelphia does so well. I think that this defense, they're already, I think they're third in terms of total sacks NFL history. Like they
All
had
time, yeah.
70 sacks, like of all time. That's not something to scoff at. I think people um I think people ignore that, to be honest. How
Yeah.
much pressure that line brings to your QB. Um I also believe that the secondary doesn't get the love that they should get, right? Um Bradbury and Slay are killing it out there. Like no one's open. Everybody keeps talking about what Purdy would have done or what Jones would have done in the playoffs. You know, those guys weren't open. They just weren't open. And I think that you have to take that into account, right? So hey, look, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. It's just that simple. And I think that this team is a historic team. I think this team will be able to finish it off and cap it with a win. Look, they win this game. Jalen Hurts actually ties Joe Montana for a record of 17-1 in a regular season
Wow.
in a season, right? So that's historic.
How is that? It got to be 18-1. How does that make
Um
sense?
they
One more game.
well
Oh, he
he no
missed games. You're
he
right.
missed
You're
games.
right.
Yeah, he missed games. So
That's
he
insane.
missed
That's a
3.
deep pull right there. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
So you gotta look at I think you have to look at both sides and what's going to be there. I don't think that as much as we look at Mahomes and Kelsey, that's all to me. That's all that offense has to offer. You know, that's all against this defense. That's all they're going to be able to rely on. That's all.
Book it. Mark it.
That's all. And hey, look, I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening for the Chiefs.
So you
Jonathan
feel
actually,
like confidence wise, like
yeah.
how are you feeling?
I called the Eagles winning this championship last spring.
I
I'm
mean, you also
confident as
called it the
hell.
year before. You know what I mean? You also
I
called it the
did,
year
I
before.
did, but that was because the year prior I didn't expect us to have that offensive line change. Right? I think it was like majority. I forgot how many games, but it was majority of the season last year where it's different guys on the offensive line. There was no rhythm. So by the time you get into the playoffs, you're not able to do anything. So it is what it is.
Mhm.
But you can't account for that. So if I could account for that, I wouldn't have said that. But going into this season, yeah, I'm confident as hell. So I have no reason to doubt this team, to be honest. I have no reason to doubt this team. I don't see Mahomes winning this. I Jonathan actually said that same thing to me before. That Mahomes isn't winning another ring. And I thought he was crazy when I first heard that. He told me that like 2 years ago that he wasn't winning the championship. I really thought he was crazy. But I think this is it right now. I mean, I don't think we'll. I'm not gonna say it's it, but I do believe that this is going to be one of those times where you look at it and say this is probably his one of his last opportunities to win a ring.
Man, I think when you look at this team, they shouldn't have even been here. So,
They
so the
shouldn't.
fact,
They
yeah,
shouldn't. So, you know, that's why I had the Bills winning the AFC. But when you look at all these teams in the AFC, right, and you project their futures, I like what other teams offer more than what the Chiefs offer. So yeah, I mean, I can't say that it's far fetched. I can't say that it's far fetched to say that Mahomes won't win another ring. I think that I think that it's a very strong possibility, but it was a hard they shouldn't have been here right now. They should not be here right now. So hey, kudos to
as
them.
far as looking at the like when you looked at their roster at the beginning of the season, you're like, there's no way it's gonna work out the way it did. And I mean,
Mm,
I think a lot of their play really speaks for themselves, and that's why I feel like I made the turn where I was like, and I made the Mahomes MVP pick 2 years running, right? So I believed in it,
yeah,
right? But at
yeah.
the same time, it was like there has to be some sort of drop off with Tyreek Hill leaving, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
about Tyreek Hill leaving. You saw how
It's
he
not.
balled out with his team. It was just about Mahomes' greatness, and really I once again I'm the biggest Patrick Mahomes apologist. I will be on this show until the end of time talking about how he's the best quarterback I've ever seen play and
Mm-hmm.
how he doesn't get the respect he deserves because I still feel that way. I think even
Oh
after
yeah,
just 5 seasons, he's still constantly underrated.
yeah.
So I agree. I agree with a lot of things you said though, man. I think what you the team you guys have is kind of historic. And if you weren't my co-host and my dear friend, I'm gonna be real honest with you guys, you would be the villain, right? Like this is
Yeah,
the Miami
yeah,
Heat villain. Like this is
yeah.
the how the fuck did this team get assembled? Fuck these guys. Like that's how you should feel.
Howie
So
Roseman.
yeah, man, it's crazy.
Howie Roseman.
So
He made all those moves. You
makes
know.
sense that you the guys are the favorite. So once again, I'm not confused by that at all. Not trying to play you guys.
Yeah, yeah,
But man,
yeah.
it's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a fun one.
It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game. I still don't even know where I'm watching it, to be honest.
Yeah, I was about to
I think
say you got to cue us into the
yeah.
living scenario, man. You don't
I
even have it planned yet.
Well, see, my girlfriend was well, Mariah, y'all know by now. Mariah was actually making plans with a couple friend of ours that um we're gonna probably watch the game over with them. So I don't know if that's still happening or not. If it's not, she and I will probably just watch it, you know, and I'll be in one position the entire game.
Time, not moving, not selling. So
Not
how does that
moving.
work? Like you're not celebrating at all. You're not fist bumping. Like what is the vibe? Because I remember I did the same thing when my Ravens played the Niners. I had the
Mm,
seat. I had the seat for my legs in front of the
yeah,
couch that
yeah,
was designated for my legs. And then I
yes,
had the
yes,
blanket, the full, and I was the only one, full blanket in bed on the couch, just watching. And
yeah,
everyone's like, "Why are you like you look like you're sick?" I'm like,
yeah,
"Motherfucker, I am,
yeah.
I am sick." And the lights went off.
The
It
lights
went
went off.
crazy.
Yep.
Once again,
Yeah.
that shit was crazy. So I know how it is, but how is it
Yeah.
gonna be for you? How did you handle it last time? And do you think it'll be a little easier this time?
Last time I was still living with my parents and I was on the couch watching it in the family room. I swear on everything. I laid in one position on the couch. I didn't talk to anybody. I had some friends that called me during halftime. And I said, okay, this is acceptable time to talk. And it
I'll
kept
allow it.
going, kept going. And it went into the third quarter. And I think we had a turnover. So I think from what I forget what actually happened. But it was a turnover in the third quarter, the beginning of the third quarter from us. And that's when I said, yeah, get off my phone.
Talk to you later. Click.
Get off my phone. Because I am not messing around. My sister actually the Super Bowl actually took place, I think, a day or two after my birthday. And my sister actually ordered a shirt for me that said this is my Eagles winning the Super Bowl T-shirt or something like that. Had a Lombardi on it and everything. But I had that kept that in my room. I didn't put it on. I didn't talk. I didn't
Mm.
nothing. Um, And actually, I'll show you now.
I was gonna say you gotta wear that if you guys win. 100%, you gotta wear that shirt.
So Mariah bought me a candle for my birthday.
Oh, that's dope.
That's not getting burned.
Until we win.
Look, I'm not, bro. I kid you not. This is how superstitious I am. I'm not. I don't. I'm not. Not doing that. Not doing it. Not doing it. And it smells amazing, but I'm not doing
I
that.
love that. I love that.
Mm-mm. Nah, I'm holding true to my tradition. I'm sitting in one position and I'm glued to the TV. I couldn't even tell you what Justin Timberlake sang that halftime show. I have no idea what he
He's
sang.
like, hey, Janice titty didn't pop out. I didn't give a fuck.
Bro,
There was
bro, I
a
was
fact though.
done.
I couldn't even tell you who played at that Super Bowl halftime show. I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah. So I know Rihanna's performing and I want to see the performance. I'm not paying attention to that thing. I'm not paying attention to it. For
Yeah.
what?
Too much on the
Like I love
line.
her. It's too much on the line. Now I'll watch it after. But yeah. Yeah. I'm
Man, all I
I
gotta
don't know
say
what we're
is
doing.
it's gonna be beautiful. And when your Eagles win, I don't even wanna like let's fucking go. I told you Twitter post. I just want a pic of the candle lit. That's
Oh, I
all I
already have it
need.
planned. I have
That's
it
all
planned.
I need.
No,
Oh,
I
oh,
already have it planned. I already have it planned. Trust me, you're gonna love what happens.
okay.
You're gonna
Well,
love what
I
happens.
I will admit it, and I'll say I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. I'm fucking rooting for it. Good luck, brother. You deserve it.
Appreciate you.
You already been through
Appreciate you.
hell.
Yeah.
But I can't let you go just yet. It's championship weekend, baby. It's not just the Super Bowl. We have
Yes, sir.
one of the biggest fights in MMA history, in my opinion. So I'm not gonna bore you guys too much. But there's a little bit going on in the wide world of MMA that I think we need to touch on before we get out of here. So let's do these title fights first, and then we'll go through the other shenanigans that's going on. I might throw in a little surprise over under for that too. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
So let's start with the title fights here. So our first one, because there's two, don't forget, both of these are taking place in Perth, Australia. Um, co-main event looks a little out of place, but it makes sense because of the title, right? So Yair
Mm,
Rodriguez is coming up against Josh Emmett for the interim featherweight title. So obviously Volkanovski's in the main event trying to become the lightweight champion. So they wanted to hem it all up on the same card, which makes a lot of sense. So
mm-hmm.
I like interim titles. Some people are divided on them. Some people don't like them because they're like it's not a real belt. But let's get these guys paid real championship money for a fight that is a number one contender by anyway, right? So either way, the next you're next anyway. Might as well
Mm-hmm.
throw it into a belt on it. So I don't mind the title. This is a fun one. Striker's delight. I think there's going to be a lot to look forward to in this matchup. Do you have a pick or a feeling of how this fight is going to go?
You said it's Volkanovski, right?
So no. So the co-main event is Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett.
Okay.
Who?
Yeah. those, those two guys, I don't know.
It's
Hey,
fine.
hold you.
No
I will
worries.
know them. Yeah.
I'll give my quick rundown. Yair Rodriguez, upcoming Mexican striker. His last win was against Brian Ortega, where he actually submitted him and tore
Ah,
tore Ortega's
I remember that.
shoulder. Um,
Yeah.
and then Josh Emmett is coming off of a war with Calvin Cater, where he ended up winning in Austin, which was amazing, like one of the best fights of the year last year. Both of these guys, like honestly, I feel like both of these guys are on that track, and it makes sense that they both getting a shot right now. This division is awesome because there's a lot of people that are like right on the cusp of breaking through, and the
Mm-hmm.
fact that both of these guys sort of found themselves in this spot, right? Ideally, you're not fighting for a belt when you're fighting this level of competition. But
Mm-hmm.
because of the situation, it makes sense. So I like this fight a lot. I think it's going to be a fucking banger. I'm going with Yair Rodriguez. I just think the youth factor, and there's also some rumblings that Emmett is injured. So scary times, but Team Alpha Male is looking to get another champ. I think Yair Rodriguez wins it, and we have our second Mexican-born champion in the UFC at the same time, which will be fucking amazing for the storyline. But let's go to the real one. Let's go to the real
Sick.
title fight. So this is taking place in the main event. We have Alexander Volkanovski, your featherweight champion at 145, moving up to fight Islam Makhachev at 155 pounds. Oh man, there's so much you could say about this fight, but what really gets undersold, right? Because it's champion versus champion. Everyone gets excited for
Yeah.
those. But let's be
Yeah.
real. In today's climate of the UFC, this is something that happens a little bit more often than it did back in the day, right? This is something that
Yeah.
we see happening, but what we
Yeah.
never have seen happen before, never, is where we have the debate for your pound for pound number one fighter in
Mm-hmm.
Volkanovski fighting
Mm-hmm.
your potential number two fighter in Islam
Yeah.
Makhachev. Two
Yeah.
different sort of stalwarts of very different divisions coming to face each other in the middle. Man, I got so much to say. I'm just gonna throw it to you on this. It's so weird to come into a title fight where like it feels like, oh, it's very obvious that this is gonna happen for both guys. Like
Yeah.
for both ways,
Yeah.
it feels like if one thing is happening, they're gonna win, and if the other happens, then this person's gonna win. So kind of crazy dynamic there. But what are your thoughts on the matchup, man?
You can make a case for either one of them. I think they both have momentum right now. And I think it's very interesting that like I can't go against Islam, to be honest. I can't because like who he's got in his corner, bro. Like I don't.
He's not gonna be there.
Oh, he's not?
Yes, Khabib has retired from coaching
When that happened?
like 2 weeks ago. Literally, cousin Umar won a belt in Bellator, and he was like, "I need to spend more time with my family." So he respectfully bowed out, and from what I understand, he's not even going to be there in attendance. That's crazy, right?
Why would he? I mean, okay, I get it, but like right before that,
Right when your boy wins the title and is about to defend it, yeah.
yeah,
And he was the
yeah.
one on the mic. I don't know if you remember this, but when Islam won the belt, he was on the
That's
mic
right.
promoting this fight. He's
That's
not
what
going
I
to be
thought.
there. Yeah, but
Wow,
this
I
is
don't
a
know
new
how.
development. I don't blame you for not hearing about it until now.
I did not know that. Yeah. Okay. See that changes things a little bit, but I still think Islam has that. Oh man,
It's crazy, crazy.
I don't know how to. I don't even know how you. I don't even know. You blew everything up. Mm,
It's crazy. I'll let you think. I'm gonna hop in here. I'm gonna hop in here.
please do. Please
I
do.
think I think this fight, no matter how it plays out, I think we're not going to get the fight we expect. I think this fight is going to go to the decision. I think this is going to be a close fight. I think it's really going to be more even than people think on the feet.
Yeah.
I think Volkanovski's extremely good on the feet
Yeah.
and does things that nobody else does as far as like disguising his attacks and putting you through cycles where he gets you to anticipate a reaction for a certain feint and then
Mm-hmm.
switches what he does off of it, which is
Mm-hmm.
like levels on levels. Like I remember when I first started noticing patterns that like people were trying to exploit, and that was like a big breakthrough for me in watching fights because before then it
Mm-hmm.
was just kind of like they press the button and they go burr, and then
Yeah.
now you're sort of watching the thought
Yeah.
process come out, and that's fascinating to watch, right? But there's nobody that I watch more than Volkanovski that I don't understand it. Like it
Yeah.
fucks with me. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense how he makes these reads and plays off them later in fights. But I think
Mm-hmm.
Islam is really good on the feet and has surprising sneaky power for that weight class. I think the fact that he's bigger is what's going to make it more even because Volkanovski's not
Yeah.
going to really able to make a lot of momentum, right? Once he lands a couple of shots, either Islam's going to be shooting or Islam's going to be entirely removing himself from that situation, right? So
Right.
it's
Right.
either going to be a big sort of game of Volkanovski trying to close down Islam versus actually pressuring him. I think that's really where this fight is determined. I'm gonna I'm gonna go with Islam Makhachev, and it breaks my heart, right? Because I love Volkanovski and I love his style. I just think this is such a big hill to climb, and
Mm-hmm.
man, we've seen him in dev to right situations before, and somehow he's been able to come out the other side of it. I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
at you, Brian Ortega. I still don't understand how you weren't able to submit that guillotine, but
Yeah.
man, Volkanovski is special, so it really pains me. But I think if this was all things considered, these skill sets at the same weight class, I think I easily pick Volkanovski.
Yeah.
But just the size factor, when you consider the size factor and Islam's style, at some point he's going to get him down and
Mm-hmm.
control the rest of that round. And that's
Yeah.
going to sort of be the eye opening moment like, oh shit, Volk can't end up there again. And I
Mm.
don't think he's going to end up there often, but I think often enough to sort of cement those rounds. But I
Yeah.
think early, I think late, this one gets really dicey for Team Islam for sure.
Yeah. I see my conundrum was because like Khabib's coaching, especially like in the grapple game, that's the part that's like second to none. I like because there have been times where you've seen him, yelling instructions. The fighter will move in position, and then all of a sudden stuff opens up, and they're able to. So that's where I was thinking more so like I do think it's a close fight too, but I'll go Islam. I'll go Islam because I think that ground game is going to still play a big factor into it.
Mhm.
I do. I think it's gonna be a very interesting part of it. Um,
For sure.
Jesus, man.
Man, I'm
I
so
I
hyped though.
I
This
I didn't
fight
even.
is so fun.
You threw me off, bro. I had no clue he retired.
Yeah, man. He
Wow.
said, he said, I'm going home, bro. Fuck, fuck this shit. Because
Wow.
imagine though, like he retired from the sport, and then
Yeah.
3 weeks later, he has been literally on the road every week. I watch
Yeah.
other organizations too. He's there for Bellator.
Oh,
He's there for
that's right.
PFL, Risen. Like he's there for all of those because his guys are everywhere. So
Oh, I didn't
I
even
think
think
that's the
about that.
main key. From what I
Okay.
understand, he's still involved in a training perspective, but it is
Hmm.
not like he is fully there the entire time like he was. Now
Okay.
it's sort of like he's there as a voice, he's there to assist, but he's not there for everything. Before he was literally like the military leader. Like he was the one,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
from what I understand in that camp, you can't have a certain haircut. You can't y'all are praying
Yeah.
6 times a day together. Like
Yeah.
it's a military like lifestyle. And I wonder if that played into it too. Like if there was
The
something in the
time
team
zones.
that we was like, we need to let things go. We need to let go of the reins a little bit, Khabib, because
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
But
Wow. Wow.
yeah, this fight is historic, man. And I think what's gonna make it so fun is that moment, right, where at home they're announcing Volkanovski and the momentum, right, of that entire place going nuts for him,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then how quiet it'll get if he gets taken down. Like it's gonna be silent in
Yeah.
there if
Yeah.
Volkanovski gets taken down. I love the underdog story. I know who I'm gonna be rooting for. I'm gonna be rooting for Volkanovski 100%.
Mhm.
But you got to pick with the head in MMA. So, man, thank you so much for entertaining me. I always love
Yes, sir.
going off with these UFC fights. So make sure you check them out and check out the MMA archive whenever you get a chance.
Yes,
But with
sir.
that being said, I think we're all done here. So, Derrick, send us home the right way.
Yes, sir. Well, please check out the full network. Because I think that's one thing that we don't really call it as much as we probably should. but it's a network. OTS is a full network of shows. So please check out some stuff. We've canceled a couple of shows recently. There's one that we'll probably announce a little later. But there's some shows that are coming together. So please check it out. OTS Media Co. All social media platforms, like Chris said earlier. OTS Media on YouTube. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. We are like there's a lot of stuff that's coming into fruition and behind the scenes that you guys don't know about yet. And that you want to be around for. So we have fans coming back with battles this year, and that was one of the biggest shows that we had for live content. So please, you guys, be on the lookout for that. We are coming back with fans, and doing some big things with that. The Sideline Guys is evolving. This is a great show, and it's the premiere show of the network. And so it's the show. It's a flagship show. So there's a lot of things that we're adding to it and tweaking around and trying to figure out what we can do certain things. So we'll likely have Bobby back on with us probably for the next episode. He couldn't make it for this one, but we're gonna do some stuff with fashion and everything like that. So we want you guys to be in tune and for you guys to get a lot of stuff out of it, a lot more out of it. And we're here for you guys. So please follow the brand on all social media platforms. Follow the shows. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. The MMA Archive, led by Chris Negron here. So please check that
Can't
out.
forget
Subscribe.
Realish. Can't forget Realish. My
Realish.
guy
Chris is
Matt,
a
the GOAT.
hey. Listen. If you guys are into film and TV, that is the show. That is the show to pay attention to. Chris, Matt, myself, we're together doing different things for you guys, and with the hot takes, as always. So please check it out. There's a lot of stuff that's coming, a lot more that's coming your way. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just be on the lookout. So thank you guys for watching and or listening. Catch you guys next week and have another Super Bowl ring.
I'm gonna leave you with this last one. Over under combined UFC fights in 2023. John Jones and Conor McGregor. What do you set the line at?
2.
2. All right. And do you go over or under? Are you going over or under 2?
I'll go over because I think Jones is going to get the belt and he's got to defend it. So he'll probably defend it like in December.
I was gonna set the line at 2.5, and I was gonna go under because fuck that, fuck that. There's no way you're telling me you get more than 2 fights out of either of those guys. Good luck.
Oh no, both combined.
Exactly. 2. That, but when you set the line at 2, if they both compete once, then it works. If you set the line at 2.5,
okay. 2.5,
they both compete once.
I see where the half goes. Okay, all right.
Matt got it last week too.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro.
Oh, good. No worries. With that, y'all have a good one. Thank you so much, you guys. Peace.